Ogun State Governor Prince Abeokuta has presented a staff of office to the newly installed Orimolusi of Ijebu-Igbo, Oba Lawrence Adebajo, with a promise that his government will continue to prioritize the welfare and well-being of traditional rulers for the sustenance of the people's cultural heritage. Governor Abeokuta, who made the presentation at Abuse Dumare Academy, Ijebu-Igbo, described traditional institution as an essential tool for the enthronement of good governance and promotion of peaceful coexistence among the people. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiyu reports.
It was indeed a joyous occasion for the entire community of Ijebu-Igbo in Ijebu North local government area of Ogun State as they gathered at Edumare Academy for the installation of Oba Lawrence Jayoba Adebajo as the new Orimolusi of Ijebu-Igbo. The epoch-making event attracted the governor of Ogun State, Prince Abeokuta, and his deputy, Engineer Noimo Salakoyedele, eminent personalities and royal fathers. Governor Abeokuta described the installation of the new king as a symbolic event after 28 years of interregnum. He commended the Ojuromi ruling house and the entire people of Ijebu-Igbo kingdom for making the choice of the new king seamless and transparent, devoid of rancor.
To celebrate the ascension of our revered royal father, His Highness Oba Lawrence Jayoba Adebajo, to the great throne of Orimolusi. Today's symbolic testament is a reflective of a time past and also a new beginning in community spirit and selflessness. I have no doubt that this ancient kingdom will witness an upward swing after a 28-year interregnum with today's installation of Kabiyesi and with the pedigree and antecedent of Oba Adebajo, even before mounting the saddle.
Describing Oba Adebajo as a man of integrity and high pedigree, the governor urged the new king to see his new position as a call to serve and also to use it to unite the Ijebu-Igbo kingdom and the entire state by being accessible to his people.
I'm delighted that this peaceful resolution has happened under my work. It is a privilege for me to thank all those who have made this day possible in a special way. I congratulate His Royal Highness Oba Lawrence Jayoba Adebajo on this historic feat as the new Orimolusi of Ijebu-Igbo. I do not have a doubt that Kabiyesi will be guided by the laudable and enviable legacy of honor among his successors. I pray that your reign will witness peace and tranquility, and you will live long on the throne of your forefathers.
The governor, however, assured the people of the state of adequate implementation of workable programs and policies to better the living of the people towards achieving socio-economic development of the state. The new Kabiyesi Oba Lawrence Jayoba Adebajo speaks.
My good people of Ijebu-Igbo, you have demonstrated great love for me that I cannot quantify. You have welcomed me with warm and open arms.
Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
Meanwhile, the atmosphere in Ijebu-Igbo was not unexpected, given the long wait of 28 years by the people of the town to have a new traditional ruler. The town was expectedly agog for the coronation of the new Orimolusi, Oba Lawrence Adebajo. Bumi Adigun captured the side attractions of the coronation. His reports.
History will be written here in Ijebu-Igbo. Ijebu-Igbo is in Ogun East Senatorial District of Ogun State. As the people of Ijebu-Igbo call this wait a deserving wait. After 28 good years, the new is new, fresh, unexpected, with new ideas. The people of Ijebu-Igbo affirmed the choice of the new Orimolusi. For the first time in 28 years, the people of Ijebu-Igbo came together again without political affiliations and religious barriers, and united in one voice for their traditional ruler. The governor of Ogun State, Prince Abeokuta, was also full of joy as he wrote history, a prince installing another prince. The town wore a new look and the crowd electrifying as they wished the new king a peaceful reign.
Now we have somebody who is credible, somebody who is loved by everybody to take that position. So I'm very happy.
Sincerely speaking to our governor, he gave us opportunity to strive, he gave us opportunity to work, he gave us opportunity to excel. And as such, once we are following the procedure, these are the kind of things you always get.
We are extremely happy. We are thankful to the state government for the speedy approval. We are thankful to the kingmakers, the warranships, for giving us the best amongst the equal. And we are thankful to the people of Ogun State and Nigeria who have prayed along our side.
Indigenous of Ijebu-Igbo, we are happy and we wish it's going to have so many years on the throne.
The conclusion of what has dragged on for 28 years. So I'm really very happy that at last we have arrived at its destination.
We're looking forward to progress, and we're hoping that with this, that a lot of sons and daughters of Ijebu-Igbo will then now return to Ijebu-Igbo to improve the town.
After the installation, the town is expected to bubble all night. Many thanks to the current administration who broke the jinx of 28 years. From Abusi Edumari in Ijebu-Igbo, Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
President Muhammadu Buhari will now sign the Word Electoral Act Amendment Bill on Friday, February 25. According to the report, the new date will be honored by the President. This comes at a time when President Buhari presided over the Federal Executive Council meeting held at the State House in Abuja. On January 25, lawmakers in the Senate and House of Representatives chambers of the National Assembly passed the harmonized version of the bill. The harmonized version was received by President Buhari a week later, as confirmed by his senior special assistant on National Assembly matters, Senator Babajide Omowurare. He withdrew his assent to the bill in November 2021, citing the cost of conducting direct primary elections, security challenges, and possible manipulation of electoral processes by political players as part of the reasons for his decision. 6 national commissioners have been sworn in to fill existing vacancies in the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. President Muhammadu Buhari performed the ceremony before presiding over the weekly meeting of the Federal Executive Council. The new INEC national commissioners comprise 2 returning for a second term in office and 4 newly appointed, all of them nominated by President Muhammadu Buhari and confirmed to be of unquestionable integrity by the Senate after a thorough screening exercise. The returnees are Muhammad Aruna from Niger State and May Agbamuchembu from Delta State. Those appointed for the first time are Okeagwu Namdi from Abia State, retired Major General Abubakar Alkali from Adamawa State, Professor Radha Goodness from Bayelsa State, and Sam Olumekun from Ondo State. The swearing-in ceremony, which had the Senate President Ahmed Lawan, Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, as well as the Chairman of the Senate and House Committee on INEC in attendance, was devoid of any remarks by President Muhammadu Buhari. The new national commissioners are, however, mindful of the high expectations from Nigerians and therefore promised to involve God in the discharge of their responsibilities.
Commissioners, and we'll make sure that we meet the public expectations and the expectations of the president for a free, fair, and credible election.
We want to assure Nigerians that we will deliver on a very, very clean election come 2023.
We will key in to the mission and vision of INEC, and you just saw us taking an oath. So that oath guides us to ensure that.
Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution.
37 new senators that will come into the Senate following the adoption of the want to create
and this will serve as a deterrent to other parents that think that government is joking about her duty.
The principals of schools visited expressed happiness at this development and promised to work in line with the government to make it a success.
Ministry of Women Affairs, for them to have come up with such a program, it shows that they are really mothers and they still have feelings for those children. And with the cooperation of the school, the parents and the ministry, I want to believe that this will become to a larger extent.
We cannot be in the school and at the same time outside the school. So any student that wants to read, must stay with that one in the school. But for those that are roaming about, we are sad about it. But thank God you are coming to our aid now. So we want to pledge our support in this school, Egba Comprehensive High School, and in Abeokuta South and Kobzu.
This is a welcome development, and I pray God will grant you the option to function.
Task forces comprises Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Child Protection Network, Parent Teachers Association, National School Crime Prevention Corps, Ministry of Information and Strategy, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps were also engaged during the sensitization, while handbills and prosecution cards were distributed to the populace for awareness. Tiwalade Faison, Ogtv News.
The Speaker, Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Olomo, has condemned the rise in social vices, especially ritual killings. Earlier, Comrade Folarin stated that there had been cases of kidnapping, ritual killings, drug abuse, cultism, internet fraud, and other social vices, even in schools within the state, explaining that the visit was to engage necessary arms of government and other stakeholders towards checkmating crimes and criminalities in the state. In another development, the Assembly Committee on Public Accounts and Anti-Corruption has held an interactive session with heads of local government administration, treasurers and directors of general services and administrations, as well as internal auditors in the 20 local government councils, with a caution on the need to improve on internal control mechanisms in curbing financial infractions in the process of administration of the council's funds. The chairman of the committee, Musafiu Lamidi, admonished the council officials to be more proactive and ensure strict adherence to financial regulations and other public service rules towards promoting accountability and transparency. As Ogun State government continues in the battle to contain the spread of COVID-19 and intensifies efforts to safeguard the population through mass vaccination, the responsibility of media practitioners is to join in mobilizing the people for vaccination. Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Wahid Odushile, made this submission while declaring open a one-day advocacy meeting with information officers and key media practitioners on improving COVAX confidence at the grassroots in the state, held at Rolak Hotel and Suites, Ijebode, Matthew Shomi reports.
Important roles of the media in the realization of the goals of mass vaccination of the population coming to the fore again at this one-day advocacy meeting for information managers and journalists. Commissioner for Information and Strategy in Ogun State, Alhaji Waheed Odushile, said there is a wide gap between the efforts of the government in making vaccines available, accessible to everyone, and the number of people so far vaccinated within the population, which is what the media practitioners must join hands to fill. Alhaji Odushile revealed that the battle against COVID-19 has not been won yet, adding that the concerted efforts of all stakeholders will be required in the realization of the goals of combating the virus.
One area that needs to be looked into is sensitization of the populace to get them sufficiently interested in the vaccine. And there's no better vehicle to use to achieve this than the media.
Representative of UNICEF Akure office, Mrs. Aderonke Akinwole, stated that the media is very vital in winning the battle against the virus and encourage the practitioners to continue to collaborate with other stakeholders for the realization of the goals of mass vaccination.
The government of Ogun State, in collaboration with international partners, continues to see that everyone in Ogun State is fully vaccinated and that our communities are protected against COVID-19.
Coordinating Director in the Ministry of Information and Strategy, Mr. Lanre Ogunyika, in his welcome address, made a clear call on the need to see the achievements of the goals of a healthy population and a prosperous society as a collective responsibility.
We must, as professionals, saddle ourselves with the responsibility of informing the public about the development impetus that will impact positively on our well-being through awareness campaigns.
In his presentation on media and demand creation for COVAX, UNICEF consultant Dr. Goke Raouf emphasized strategic communications that will be geared towards achieving the goals. There were presentations of the efforts of the state so far and the roles of media in the battle against COVID-19, after which the meeting broke into groups, at the end of which a communique was issued. Matthew Shomi, Ogtv News.
An emergency medical treatment committee that will ensure prompt medical response to emergency situations and reduce avoidable death in Ogun State has been inaugurated. Commissioner for Health in the state, Dr. Tomi Koka, performed the inauguration at the conference room of the Minister of Health, Abeokuta, with a charge on them to be selfless. Dominic Agbeha reports.
Traversed by the two busiest highways in Nigeria, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and Shagam-Ore-Benin Expressway, Ogun State accounts for 4 out of every 10 road accidents in Nigeria. As at the last check, 41% road accidents and 16% deaths were recorded in 2011, the highest in the country. Determined to reduce these preventable deaths through the provision of adequate medical response within the shortest time possible, the Prince Dapo Abiodun-led administration increased the number of ambulances in the state from 5 to 16, commenced the 24-hour services in each of the senatorial districts, improved funding for ambulance services by 66%, and now the inauguration of a steering committee, the Ogun State Emergency Medical Treatment Team, drawn from the medical associations and health institutions within the state, security agencies, the media, transport unions, and other relevant groups. The committee will ensure response to people in medical distress in the state is properly coordinated.
To inaugurate this committee,
Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Koka, says no progress-driven society can afford to lose the best of its citizenry in their prime.
It is thus imperative that a fully functional emergency medical services system, which would serve as a first line of rescue and defense, which will in turn bridge the gap between the patients and the specialized care which is much needed, which we in Ogun State have made a priority to our government.
Delighted to be part of the laudable initiative, members of the committee say, like the biblical Good Samaritan, they have been afforded the opportunity to help save lives.
All living things want to live.
And it was based on this that I normally take emergency care as a very personal issue. It's not just a good work, it's a God work.
It also prompts evacuation of the severely injured victims for immediate medical attention. And with all this, we are in support of it.
The value of life is very, very important. You know, for a life, there are a lot of people that are attached to the person. You know, we have these family ties. And we want to make sure that no life is lost when accident happens.
With this initiative, victims of medical emergencies now have an increased chance to live. Dominic Agbeha, Ogtv News.
The combined convocation and 16th anniversary ceremonies of Abraham Adesanya Polytechnic Ijebu-Igbo for the conferment of higher national diploma certificates and presentation of special prizes for 2017 to 2021 graduates comes up tomorrow, Thursday, 24th February 2022 at the Polytechnic Auditorium at 11 in the morning. A statement from the rector of the institution, Professor Jumoke Bukola Bilesomi Awoderu, indicates that the special guest of honor is the Ogun State Governor, Prince Dako Abiodun. She urged guests to be seated by 10:30 in the morning. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, has launched its Abeokuta Forum office. The office was commissioned by the Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, Dr. Musiliu Oseni, who described the action as a landmark in the march towards realization of adequate, safe, reliable, and affordable power supply across the state. Margaret Okunlola reports.
Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, is an independent regulatory body set up to entertain appeals from decisions of customer complaint units of electricity distribution company for the regulation of the electric power industry. The commission is charged with the responsibility of seeing to the establishment, promotion and monitoring of a competitive Nigerian electricity market, where the private sector will be the key driver, with no single or multiple group of players exercising undue market power. To ensure the effectiveness of their roles in the state, the Commission inaugurated an outlet in Ogun State, making it the 31st outlet in 31 states out of the 36 in the country. The Vice Chairman, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, Dr. Musiliu Oseni, reiterated the forum's determination to operate and perform task oversight without discrimination.
One key important thing in service delivery is being close to the consumers of that service. So opening this today will guarantee the consumer the ability to get their complaints resolved. The purpose of this office is for them to come and lodge the complaint, and the panel that we put together will look into the complaints and address it.
The Commissioner for Consumer Affairs, Aisha Mahmood, assured that the outlet was commissioned so as to have an avenue to channel complaints, as the Commission has the mandate to protect the interest of consumers.
This is all in a bid, to get closer to the customers, to ensure that our presence is recognized, to ensure that our customers' rights are protected, to ensure that when customers have complaints, they have an avenue, to go and channel that complaints to.
In attendance were state dignitaries and functionaries, public servants, private electricity owners, as well as staff of the Commission, who said the platform is for consumers to have effective remedies to issues relating to electricity.
The whole idea of the forum, which is a collaboration, is to ensure that customers are satisfied with the provision of electricity in the state.
The event also saw inauguration of a 5-man committee to drive the outlet. Margaret Okunlola, Ogtv News.
Lawmakers in Zamfara State House of Assembly have impeached the Deputy Governor of the state, Mr. Madi Gusau. Mr. Gusau was impeached during plenary on Wednesday, shortly after the House received the report of the committee set up by the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Kulu Aliyu. to investigate the allegations against him. The 7-member panel set up to investigate the alleged impeachable offences against the Deputy Governor, led by retired Justice Halidu Soba, had submitted its report to the State House of Assembly. Speaker of the House, Nasiru Muazu, received the report presented by Justice Soba at the Assembly Complex in Gusau, the state capital. In his remarks, Muazu promised to treat the report in accordance with the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Among the allegations leveled against the Deputy Governor were a breach of the Constitution, gross misconduct, financial fraud, and abuse of office. In the meantime, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has ordered the interim forfeiture of 10 properties as well as funds in banks that were allegedly traced to a former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari. The forfeiture order followed an expert application the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, brought before the court. The commission had, through its lawyer, Osobeni Akponimisinga, prayed the court to allow the federal government to temporarily take possession of all the assets. While granting the application, Justice Obiora Iguatu held that the interim order would last for 60 days. He said the order was to enable the ICPC to conclude its investigation, after which it could reapproach the court for an order of final forfeiture. Meanwhile, Justice Iguatu directed the ICPC to publish the interim forfeiture order to enable anyone that has an interest in any of the affected properties to, within 14 days, show cause why they should not be permanently forfeited to federal government. Activities marking the 70th birthday anniversary of the primate of the Church of the Lord, Aladura Worldwide, Reverend Dr. Rufus Okikiola Oshitelu, continue on Thursday, 24th of February 2022, with the annual roof colloquium at the Regency Hall, MKO Abiola Gardens, Ikeja, Lagos, while the birthday banquet is slated for Saturday, 26th February 2022 at Kasinton Adebutu Civic Center, Iperu, Remo. A Thanksgiving service rounds off the celebration on Sunday, 27th February 2022 at the Church of the Lord Worldwide Cathedral, Ogiri, Remo, Ogun State. Other events slated to feature during the celebration are skill acquisition program, visits to hospitals, orphanages, and the elderly, presentation of eyeglasses, and granting of scholarships to indigent students. Up next is business news.
You're welcome to the business news. The stock market fell in volatile trading after Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered troops into 2 breakaway regions in eastern Ukraine, a move that was met with a new round of sanctions from the West, as some officials warned that the invasion of Ukraine has begun. According to Forbes, global stock markets took a hit after Russian President Vladimir Putin decided to recognize the separatist state of Donetsk and Luhansk in eastern Ukraine, ordering Russian troops to move into the region in order to maintain peace. The move was widely condemned by the West, with the European Union and United Kingdom both unveiling economic sanctions against Russia on Tuesday, while the United States also unveiled sanctions targeting Russia's elite, banks, and sovereign debts. Following the withdrawal of services by freight forwarders and clearing agents at both the port and terminal Multipurpose Limited and the Tinkan Island port in Lagos, the terminals may become congested as more ships berth in the coming days, according to findings by journalists. About 4 ships carrying over 8,000 vehicles will berth at the two ports between Wednesday and Monday. This scheme, as port officials said, the terminals were already battling capacity issues, noting that over 4,000 vehicle slots meant to have become vacant were still being occupied by vehicles. Members of the House of Representatives Joint Committees on Customs and Excise and Banking and Currency have splashed over the move to issue a warrant of arrest of the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. The chairman of the House Committee on Customs and Excise, Leke Abeokuta, had ruled that the warrant be issued on Emefiele over his alleged refusal to answer summons by lawmakers. The House had on January 27, 2022, asked the CBN to suspend the electronic evaluation and invoicing policy recently introduced in the import and export chain, warning that it might negatively affect revenue collection by the Nigerian Customs Service. Emefiele was also to appear before the committee to explain the implication of the policy to customs revenue target in 2022. The Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers and the Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union failed to appear before the National Assembly's Joint Committees on Works over the alleged invasion of the diversion of 621 billion naira road fund. The leaderships of NOPENG and PTD had alleged that the fund allocated for the rehabilitation and reconstruction of federal roads was hijacked by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing together with some governors. Consequently, the Joint Committee had invited the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, SAN, and leaders of the unions to respond to the allegation. But the invitees failed to attend the investigative hearing organized by the committee during the eye of lawmakers. And finally, the International Air Transport Association, in collaboration with the Airport Council International, have welcomed the adoption of the European Union Council recommendation for external travelers coming into the EU and called for further action to help restart air connectivity. Announcing the move in a statement, the group said that the new regime aligned with the recommendation already adopted in January regarding intra-EU travel and thus further strengthen the principle of travel criteria based on travelers' personal health status rather than on the epidemiological situation of the country or area of departure. The group said that travel restrictions have little or no impact on the epidemiological spread, while the recommendation is an undoubted step forward. IATA said the industry called for EU states to move further towards an unconditional acceptance of all WHO-approved vaccines and also replacing PCR with rapid antigen testing options. And that's it on Business News Tonight. Many thanks for watching. Back to Mujisola for the segment of the news.